Welcome to Opening Arguments. This is Vapid Response Wednesday. I'm Thomas. That over there is real-life attorney Matt Cameron, immigration attorney. How you doing?
Hey, all right, Thomas. Just having a December kind of a day. Just got no heat in the office, so I'm enjoying nice, cold 13 degrees or whatever it is out there. Beautiful day in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah. Another slow day in a slow work industry of immigration law, I'm sure. What do you do to pass the time, Matt?
Just watching the clock, man.
Yeah. Wait until you can punch out. Go home. Yeah. How's it going, Lydia?
Oh, good. I'm sitting in my heat working location in a balmy 43 degrees, 45 degrees in California.
Actual, what you would almost register as cold here.
That sounds
I will say
nice.
it is a little chilly when I go outside and I have to pick up the kids. It's shocking.
There's a chill in the air. Yeah, this is my favorite. I wish it was 50 degrees all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want 50 degrees. And everyone's like, no, wouldn't you want
overcast.
like 72? It's like, no, because if I start walking, then I'm hot. I want it to be cold. Like the default should be a little cold. And then when I start moving, then I'll be perfect. Yeah. That's how I want it.
I think that's
Make it
a
happen.
good idea. All
Somebody.
right. Well, Democrats, right?
As soon as
Democrats
climate change,
control the weather.
Yeah,
so.
we got to pick the proper biome or whatever. Like when climate change hits another few degrees, we'll just go to the right place. It might be Boston.
Yeah, do that and daylight savings time at the same time. Like just kind of fix everything. Yeah.
Unfortunately for now, Republicans control the weather, but we'll see.
Dang it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, what vapid nonsense are we responding to this week?
Well, this week we have to ask, is the United States not quite Christian enough? Very important question. And also, are we too empathetic? These seem like
very important
questions to ask in the year 2025. It reminds me, we just had a Where There's Woke we did that'll be out shortly, where Bill Maher was giving examples of how we already have so much socialism, in our government.
Yeah, there's plenty.
In the year 2025 in the United States. It's almost 2026.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
enough.
People don't realize we have so much socialism. It's like, is this a prank? We have not enough Christianity. We have not enough empathy or too much empathy. We have too much empathy. Yeah. And apparently too much socialism.
Matt, I have to give you a sneak
peek. These
peek.
people are living in.
One of the things he listed as socialism was the military-industrial complex. So,
That's what I think of when I want more socialism.
Yeah, that's a very interesting example.
Healthcare is, if anything, too cheap. We should be raising rates. We should look into how to make more money off of it. Yeah.
So good.
Of course, we've also got a classic Josh Hammer joint, one of our new favorite stars here on the conservative right, explaining exactly why Pete Hegseth is not a war criminal. I'm sure you'll find it very convincing.
Interesting position to take.
Once again, I feel like he is a war criminal. I get it. You're punking me. It's opposite day here I guess that's every day, really.
Yeah.
Looking forward to all that. And of course, we have the patrons, the ones who make it all happen. Love doing these shout outs. So happy to be back to it. And so as we go into our first break, I'm going to thank our patrons. We do a third of our Hall of Famers each break. And those Hall of Famers, by the way, are those who pledge at the $5 level and above for at least a month on patreon.com/law. They make the show happen. Join their ranks. All right. Thank you to the Office of Arbitrary and Capricious, PC. What would that mean? The Arbitrary and Capricious PC. There's no legal. There is only Zool. What? I like a lot of that, but I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah.
That's a company,
I love
right?
the Ghostbusters reference, though. Veterinary for America 2028, One Man, One Vote. Alec, Unremarkable, Amina, Donna Treadaway, Mother of Harridans, Protect Trans Kids, Deep Space Nine was the best Star Trek. I love that. That's great because it's like a good message and then also sneaking in a quick Star Trek opinion.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's the best use of the shout
Get
out.
people fighting in the comments. Yeah, I see you.
Mike Lipinski, Race Fast, Safe Car. Wow. Wait, that can't be right. Wait. Does that work? Race. Oh, wow. Yeah, because the T's exactly in the middle. Okay. I was thinking there was only one T, but that's the middle. That's the middle of your palindrome there.
Interesting.
That's the foundation on which the palindrome is constructed. Cyanitis, normalized bidirectional spooning. Always good. Yeah. Fourth Circuit attorney reluctantly changing her font. Charlie Kelly, attorney at Bird Law, apprentice of adventure, probably a real person, Nick Fish, unfrozen caveman lawyer, and how many chunks would a chunk hunk thunk if a chunk hunk could thunk chunks? Man. There we go. That's a hard one. I was not ready for how hard that would be.
Yeah, that is tough.
Those are our amazing patrons making the show happen. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll take our first quick break, and then we'll get to it. All right, where do we begin here?
All right, today's Amuse Douche is brought to us by Allie Beth Stuckey, a voice on the conservative right who's got some opinions about empathy. Now, she wrote an entire book about what she calls toxic empathy. Mm-hmm. She says that empathy is not she said that empathy is only an emotion, which isn't even true, because empathy really is kind of a thing you have to do. It's an
also,
action.
Paul Bloom or whatever wrote the Against Empathy book. Already, they already did this.
She's a biter.
Right.
I've been waiting to say biter for a long time, actually. Like biter, like you copy somebody. I don't know. It's just like I'm trying to bring like the old slang that I used to say, and
old
like
slang.
Oh yeah, that's from when I was in high school.
Biter?
Wow,
yeah,
never heard that one.
Yeah, you're a biter.
Is that West Coast? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Different part of the West
Coast. I never heard of it. It's probably made up.
It's not. Anyway, she stole the idea.
Yeah. So I thought this was especially interesting in light of the two pieces we're going to read today, because she's talking about empathy as it relates to policy, which is something that I'm very concerned about as somebody who deals with policy that should be grounded in empathy, but is not. So let's just see what she has to say at this event where she's speaking.
Well, once again, it is portrait mode, which is going to ruin my sanity, but I'll make it work.
You wrote the book on toxic empathy, so my question is, what is the worst thing that toxic empathy has done to our society, and how do we as young people fix it?
Yes. My argument is not that empathy is always bad, but that it's powerful. And it can lead you in a good direction or a bad direction. If you feel so deeply how someone feels, you might end up doing three things: affirming sin, validating lies, or supporting destructive policies. We see this when it comes to abortion. We see this when it comes to gender. We see this when it comes to sexuality. We see this when it comes to immigration. And we see this when it comes to crime. We feel so badly for the purported victim that is elevated by the media that we forget about the person on the other side of the moral equation. We might feel so badly for the person who swears that he is born in the wrong body that we forget about the women and girls who are now forced to share a locker room or a bathroom with a male. Or we forget about the consequences of butchering children's bodies and stealing from them their fertility, all because we have so much empathy for these children who supposedly believe that they're born in the wrong body. So I would say, it's hard for me to say what is the worst, because it's how women and Christian women justify abortion. It's how they justify transgenderism. It's how they justify redefining marriage and soft on crime policies and open borders, this toxic empathy. So it has wrought, in the name of good intention, so much destruction and chaos. Christians are not primarily called to empathy, we're called to love. And 1 Corinthians 13:6 says, love never rejoices in sin. It never rejoices in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. So this truth and love dichotomy is what Christians are called to, and it makes us a lot more thoughtful about our politics.
So this is toxic, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't need to, I mean, besides, sorry to be platforming obvious transphobia here, but the whole idea that, empathy-based policy is inherently wrong, like they're or sinful, like obviously you're affirming sin. That's really the thing that she's really means, is she just doesn't like it. But the idea that by supporting trans teens who would otherwise be at high risk of suicide, by supporting people who want to get married so they can do things like sponsor their partners for immigration purposes, by supporting, not having people go to life for prison for stealing a candy bar when it's their third offense. I mean, that kind of thing.
It's also just such a jack-off book, because it's like, well, it's not always bad, but sometimes. Okay, so like fucking everything.
Sure.
Well,
you could also frame every single one of those things as just empathy in the wrong direction. Okay, well, you have too much empathy for the unborn fetus, and really the problem is the problem is not empathy; it's where you're pointing it. Yeah. So it's like it's just a useless thing. I would argue you have too much empathy for God. You have toxic empathy for God, because you're like, I'm so worried about God's feelings. Oh, he's going to be so upset if I have sex with the wrong person. He's going to be I'm just scared of hurting God's feelings.
He's very sensitive.
You're being empathetic with the literal least victim there could possibly be. Definitionally, God can't be a victim, cannot be a victim, cannot suffer, cannot experience anything bad. God is perfect, immutable, everywhere. So why that should be the last person you give a shit about. Everything that we do is inconsequential to God. God has already just maxed all the stats. God's got all the cheat codes. There's nothing we could do that God would give two shits about. He's all powerful. Why would it care? It does no effect on him. You should be empathizing. Is that the word? You should be empathetic toward the people who can actually suffer. Sympathizing is a word, right?
Yeah.
Empathizing
ways,
should
things,
be a word. But anyway, yeah, you're just too worried about what God's feeling. Just stop worrying about what God is feeling. Stop being so concerned with God's feelings. He doesn't care. He shouldn't care. There's no reason. He's fine.
Now, this book came out, what was it, Matt, like 2 years ago now, I think, Toxic Empathy, but she's still parroting all of these talking points to this day. Like as of today, as we're recording this, December 9th, 2025, she posted this tweet that I'm just going to share with you guys, where it goes even beyond what she said in that clip. There was a man who'd wear a dress while riding his bike in my husband's small town growing up. Everyone knew he was unstable for the simple reason that he was a man wearing a dress. The last thing they would have done is let him around kids. Consider what we call unfair stigma and shame today likely protected countless children and other vulnerable people in generations past. Our unconditional empathy has hurt far more than it's helped.
What?
What a gross take.
You know what also resembles a dress is the fucking Catholic robes that all the fucking priests are in that actually are the ones abusing kids.
Yeah.
We have too much empathy. Our empathy toward these fucking idiot priests who are abusing kids and then going from church to church and just getting moved around. That's who's actually abusing kids.
Yep.
Look at the fucking stats.
God, well, the youth pastor in your small town who wears jeans and a t-shirt every day and does the same stuff. I mean, I mean, the guy in the dress is just having a good time on a bike. You're pulling him aside and getting him off the road.
He might just like the airflow. It might
just be a kilt guy. It might just be a kilt guy from Scotland.
It could be a kilt. And then it's all of a sudden normal.
Yeah.
It's true.
Unbelievable.
Have you seen the shit those priests wear? The Pope and the Catholic priest? That's some weird crap. They're unstable. Don't let kids around someone dressing like that. Look, it's weird. He's cosplaying like he's in some fantasy novel.
Yeah.
What is that? That's weird. Creeps.
So strange.
Perverts. Don't let your kids around them.
Yeah.
Well, as somebody who cares about good policy, the idea that we want to actively screen out empathy and make sure that empathy is not part of it. I understand to an extent what you're saying, right? You don't want to only empathize with people who do bad things over the people they hurt. Obviously, I think we can all agree on that. But the idea that you can't make policy out of empathy is how we get to Josh Hammer, who we'll be looking at in just a moment, who clearly has no empathy whatsoever, or to Ross Douthat, who we'll be looking at, or Douthat, as we now call him. That's right, Lydia. But who just refuses to see what's going on, I think, more or less. Yeah. He's just kind of, got his head in the sand. But this is a toxic message in itself, I'm just going to say, and it's a terrible way to make policy. It's a means to an end, obviously, but.
And, she seems like sort of an unknown character in all of this stuff. But let me just say, she testified before Congress about anti-abortion efforts. She has the ear of the Trump administration to some degree. She was very close with Charlie Kirk. All of these people are connected. And she has, a fairly popular podcast, I guess, in the realm of conservative podcasts.
I've heard of her name.
Yeah, Allie Beth Stuckey. And she's been affiliated with Glenn Beck for a long time. She was with The Blaze for a while, left, and then came back when her other venture was bought back by The Blaze. So she has a platform. She has access to everyday folks. She has access to the Trump administration. She has access to other conservative commentators with also very large platforms. So it's not like this message is going to be insulated in any way.
Yeah, look at this. Do these look like healthy people? Do these look like balanced people? Look what they're wearing. That's dresses.
Weirdos.
They're wearing dresses.
Yeah. At least they're not riding bikes.
Yeah, well, maybe they should be. Look at it. Look at this. Does this seem normal? Does this seem like normal behavior? Fucking perverts. Don't let your kids around these perverts. Look at them. Deviants. Yeah. So weird. All of a sudden, you don't question. Look at their stupid hats. Look at those dumb hats. What is this? That's normal. That's all fine. Give your kids to them as much as you want, because they're probably fine.
Crazy.
And yet the Pope still understands better. At least this Pope understands empathy better than this woman does.
That's true. So that's true. The Pope has been too woke for these hardcore Nazis.
Radical leftists.
Decades. Yeah. God.
Well,
so funny.
I regret to inform you that it is hammer time. We have to get to Josh Hammer, our first piece here.
Let me think. Do we need another break? So we need 2 more breaks. Do we? So let me do quick math. Oh, I can't ask Matt to do math. I guess we do unless we do a break at the end, right?
Yeah, I think we do need a break.
Okay. Well, I guess we gotta do. I'm excited for Douthat. We're saving Douthat to the end.
Yes.
I guess. So we're gonna take a quick break before hammer time, and and of course we've got to thank our middle chunk of patrons. So thank you so much to A Negative Phenomenon, David Souther, Amy, must I jujitsu my ma? Did we have that last time? I think we
did, but I saw someone say that it doesn't actually work. You have to you have to switch the letters in jujitsu. It's like Juijiu. No? I didn't fact check.
Oh, jujitsu is,
but I think
because there's an I before the U.
Yeah, I think they said it's close, but not quite.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So I didn't. It does. So it is a palindrome as presented. The letters work, but it's because they misspell jujitsu.
Right.
I didn't notice that.
Right.
Okay. So close.
Yeah. Try again.
It was too good to be true.
Yeah.
Is there a way to work juice? Like if you could do juice the other way, because that's UI. Because isn't it JIU?
Yeah, but
no, that doesn't work.
That's, I don't know.
Okay, so I stand by my earlier skepticism. Like, how in the world could you work jujitsu into a palindrome? Turns out it's impossible. Maybe somebody can do it. I don't know. Yeah, like feet. Nah, I don't know. You got to fight for your right to ex parte. Jay Sank, council member elect, vehicular man's laughter, not to be confused with New York Penal Code 125.12. Cavalry, throw fascist in holes again. Can we do that again? I just want to do that clip again where the guy's
thrown like, in holes.
Thrown into a hole. Oh, God, I'll never get over that. That was my favorite thing ever.
Nick Sorter.
Make sure you watch last week's, everybody. Even a blind squirrel can find these chunks. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter... Oh, no, there's a... What?
Oh, no, you special symbol. Character?
Yeah, but I don't... Sometimes that's the import.
Oh, man.
By the letter 1/4? Hold on. Here's what I'm gonna do. I want to make sure that we properly thank this patron.
They deserve it.
I'm going to go to Patreon. Okay, when I go to the actual Patreon, I want to track this down to thank our patrons properly. It says brought to you by the letter, and then it just says OBJ, like object kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, okay.
So it must be an emoji.
Yeah, but it does, even on Patreon, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I tried, patron. I tried. Yeah. I don't know if you're pranking us or what. Thomas Freeman, Cajun Killer, Fraudfishy Hates Everything, Chris Simpson, being told to support Gavin Newsom by blue no matter who, people who oppose Mom Donnie has me at my limit, Gavelhead Chucking Away, E.T., and Mark Schultz. All right, nice. We'll take our second break and then get to hammer time.
It's hammer time.
Okay, Josh Hammer. Hold on a sec.
Turns out we can touch this.
All right, so let's find out why Pete Hegseth is not a war criminal.
Somebody had to make this case, and I'm going to tell you up front, he makes it pretty badly. But let's take it apart, because I actually did some legal research on this one.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Josh Hammer's not even a lawyer, but I don't think, right? He's not a lawyer.
I don't think so.
Certainly doesn't write or think like one.
Did he go to Harvard Law? I for some reason I feel like he might be.
You might be thinking Shapiro.
I'm checking it.
Yeah.
Attorney. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
He's a lawyer. Yeah, I think I remember
that. University of Chicago Law School.
That's right. He clerked for James Ho. That's right. Okay. Well, sorry to get
do
your
better.
CV wrong. Yeah. I refuse to believe he's a lawyer after reading this and his other work, but. He also, this is a man who does not believe that Israel has ever committed a war crime. So keep that in mind as we read this. That is also relevant to this.
That's interesting. Well,
What's this editor's note? This is a preview of the Josh Hammer report. Why? So we're on Newsweek getting a preview of the Josh Hammer report. Wow.
He's a senior editor at large.
Well, he's the senior editor, at Newsweek. So he gets to try and push people.
Newsweek? Didn't they used to be real, right?
Nothing good.
Wow.
Not good.
Senior editor at large, Josh Hammer, charts a path forward for the American conservatism. I love how you're in control of literally every fucking thing. You're like, we need a path forward. We need to be even more shitty. And exposes the woke left. A voice for the new right. Hammer Why is this editor's note here? What? It's
because
like a promo.
Josh put himself there. Yeah, he's trying to direct people to his podcast instead of reading it on Newsweek, which he's also benefiting from. Yeah,
blistering commentary.
He just doesn't want to share the money with anybody else, so he's trying to get people to the podcast instead.
All right.
All right. At some point, the American left must decide whether it still believes the United States has a right to defend itself, its interests, and its citizens.
I think it does, yeah.
You've already strawmanning. Yeah, everybody believes that. Boy, it's like you put it in a way that everybody would say, yeah, it has a right to defend itself.
If we're being invaded.
So you're arguing against nobody.
The latest round of performative outrage, this time directed at Secretary of War Pete Hegseth.
Performative outrage.
No, it's real. It's actual outrage.
Yeah,
I promise. I'm pretty mad.
I don't think you should kill people for no reason. I'm not pretending that.
Over a second precision strike on a narco-terrorist vessel in the Caribbean Sea this past September makes clear that much of our legacy media would prefer the answer be no.
I like to use the word precision as if it matters, right? Like, it makes it worse. Don't you understand how that makes it worse? Like, that's
Sorry, the answer to what?
Whether it still believes.
He's such a bad writer.
Yeah.
It must decide whether it still believes, the latest.
That the American left,
prefer the answer be no.
Right.
That's so unclear. It's just bad
I agree.
writing.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want to hit a fishing boat in the Caribbean for no reason. Yes. Okay.
The accusation is as predictable as it is unserious.
They love that construction. It's as dumb as it is fucking stupid. Like every time. It's always like it's as imaginary as it is bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? I don't know how to do that.
To be fair, you really could have seen this one coming. This is a very predictable accusation.
Yeah. You're going to complain when I kill people in cold blood. Real original. That's all they do.
That's the SNL skit that they just did too on this.
Oh, did they do? I was going to say there was a comic from the first Trump era. I think there was like a guy what is it? The guy with a spider on his face or something. And he's like, oh, you're probably going to say like, why do you have a spider on your face or whatever. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is that. They just do that. If you can like preempt, totally normal human reactions with a sarcastic tone, then you can just invalidate them. I think you can not pay your rent and just go to your landlord and be like, oh this guy, he's like,
first of the month, huh?
Like, stupid.
Hegseth, we are now told, is a war criminal.
I will say, I meant to mention before, sorry, the headline. I do agree with the headline. Pete Hegseth is not a war criminal because we're not at war. He's just a criminal. He's a regular criminal.
Right, exactly.
Technically correct.
Yeah.
Happens to be the Secretary of Defense. All right, yeah, please go on.
Because under presidential authorization and pursuant to ongoing counter-cartel operations against narco-terrorists in the Caribbean, U.S. forces executed a follow-up strike on a boat ferrying fentanyl-running, human-smuggling narco-terrorists, actors who have wrought more death on our streets than most hostile regimes abroad.
So there's the setup. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know I'm complaining a lot about the same thing, but like, this is Newsweek. This is an article. Does everything have to be presented in a tone of, can you believe we're told? It's just it might as well be the Seinfeld, like brick wall. They're saying war crimes. It's like, can't you even you could still have the wrong opinion, but just be like, okay, so there's an argument that this is war crimes. Here's why I, a fascist, think it's not war crimes. Right. But they can't do that because they've lost all connection to reality, so everything has to be a total joke all the time. Yeah. The only way you can start your stupid argument is by presenting it in the worst way, that you're countering a made-up thing by a bunch of clowns, but it's just silly. Like, it's so childish. Like, you did a 2 paragraphs that was just like, like, that's how you start your article?
Yeah. Set it up to make it seem like a complete farce when, like, there's actual issues at play, and they could just engage with it seriously, but they don't. Yeah.
And just to make this very clear for everybody, I don't believe we've actually been told which narco-terrorists are supposed to be. Trump did designate cartels as terrorists in his January 20th order. That still doesn't mean you get to just strike them in the water and blow them out and kill them. Yeah. But, he's just taking it as given that these are narco-terrorists. We don't even there's been like mixed bag responses about which one it's even supposed to be. They've got this Cartel de las Solas that they've kind of made up. They've got the Tren de Aragua, of course, the popular one, which doesn't really run fentanyl. So, again, there's a lot of presumption going on here, obviously. As you expect.
It's bad sign when we're like complaining about the war crime and they're like, well, first off, I don't know which war crime you're talking about. It could be lots of them.
Many of the same pundits who moralize about democracy between commercial breaks have suddenly discovered a novel legal theory under which defending the American homeland is a grave, prosecutable offense.
This is so stupid. Like, so much stupider than usual.
Hey, I got a question. I always mispronounce it. Is it the Miley or the Milai? I mix it up. Yeah, whatever that is.
Right.
That massacre does any of the logic of this article, like, why would you not write it about that?
Oh yeah, you totally could have written
the same thing. Oh,
absolutely.
Defending the homeland is a grave prosecute. If you do that tone,
novel
and just
legal
straw man. Right. Yeah, they're moralizing about war crimes, like, or it's just war crimes. Just be a fucking grown up. This guy is such a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is nonsense, and dangerous nonsense at that. And it betrays a fundamental misunderstanding, willful or otherwise, of the Article 2 Commander-in-Chief power.
Interesting. The Article 2 Commander-in-Chief power.
Yeah.
What about the Article 1 power to actually declare war? I guess we're not going to talk about that.
Just skip over 1. 1 doesn't matter.
Well, 2 is the sequel. It's better than Article 1. So
twice as good. That's
right. It's like the lore
we don't need
in
the
sequel
exposition.
replaces the lore of the original.
The framers did not design a national security posture that forces
Period. Right there. Let's just end the sentence right there. Did not design a national security posture. Just want to point this out. They did not intend for us to have a standing army. That was never part of the deal. Sorry. Very important to note. They thought maybe we should have a permanent navy because that's a lot of work to get boats in the water. But they're like, every 2 years or whatever, we can maybe come up with an army if we need one. They thought it was a pretty bad idea to have a standing army because they'd seen what happened. So I just wanted to end the sentence there where it belongs. Did not design a national security posture.
Unfortunately, that forces the president to petition cable news bookers for permission to act, even preemptively or prophylactically, in the national interest. Why did he say it like that? Why? Okay. The Constitution vests the executive with the power and indeed the solemn duty to repel threats, protect commerce, and secure the nation against those who would do it harm.
Hey, guess how many of those things are in the Constitution? None of them. None of them in the Constitution.
Oh, I was going to guess 1.
Now, the Commerce Clause.
Well, he's the commander-in-chief, right? That's somewhere in there.
Well, no, I meant this in this sentence. Repel threats, protect commerce, and secure the nation.
No, I know. I'm saying in the Constitution, if he's the could those things be by implication because he's the commander-in-chief of the military or whatever? I don't. You're the only one who's read the fucking thing. What does it say, man?
It's commerce is mentioned twice in Article 2, which again has to do with Congress. But the Article 2 Commander-in-Chief power, just to reiterate that, is a very stupid way to put this because, just to be very clear before we go on, Congress has the power to declare war under Article 2. The executive has the Commander-in-Chief power under Article 1. And so the Commander-in-Chief carries out what Congress is supposed to tell them to do. Now, we've only declared war 11 times. We're going to talk a little bit more about how we actually get into all these things without declaring war. But the idea that, which he's pushing here, which is becoming kind of a popular heritage MAGA kind of argument right now, the idea that the president just gets to do whatever he wants with the military is certainly not envisioned in the Constitution or in the founding at all.
Why don't we, it turns out they have this thing on the internet. We can actually look at the Constitution. You can actually read it. Okay, here we go. Article 2, Section 2. We're on Section 2.
Too late for Josh Hammer now. I don't know.
Yeah. If you're watching, the president shall be commander-in-chief of the Army. I nailed it. I knew that was in there. And Navy of the United States and of the, okay, they do say Army, but you're saying they didn't want a standing army. Oh, anyway. And of the Army, militia of the several states.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's every 2 years.
Okay.
We'll
when called into, there you go, militia when called into actual service, he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices, and he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses. Okay, there's that. And then the very next thing says congressional control over president's discretion. That's interesting. That seems like Congress can sometimes have control over the president, but I don't know if that's a different thing. Okay, we've got so that doesn't, I don't see commerce, but this is the commander-in-chief clause. Is there more to it than this?
Well, in Article 1 it mentions commerce. That's the Congress gets to regulate commerce, but no, there's nothing else about this. He's supposed to enforce the laws and he's supposed to basically protect the nation or whatever, but he's making up presidential powers.
Yeah, I didn't see it anyway. I just wanted to fact check him. I don't.
You got
I don't see it anywhere.
Well, let's see what Josh Hammer uses as his evidence.
Yes.
It's all explained clearly by Alexander Hamilton in the Federalist number 70, in which he explained, quote, that unity is conducive to energy will not be disputed. Decision, activity, secrecy, and dispatch will generally characterize the proceedings of one man in a much more eminent degree than the proceedings of any greater number.
Well, that's just clear as day. What?
Yeah, this is not in context, obviously. I went and looked. I read our Federalist number 70.
And it's not the Constitution. Like sometimes they help you with certain things, but they didn't get everything they wanted into the
right. That was
okay.
No, Jefferson and Hamilton were both very clear that they did not want the president just waging war by himself. Just for one thing, the Federalist 70, the entire purpose of that one is the debate over. It's kind of a funny thing to think about today, but they were debating whether we should have one executive, like represented by one guy, or like a committee of executives. And he was saying if you have a committee, it's all going to get the blame will be spread around, the responsibility is spread around, and. Heritage loves Federalist 70. It comes up a lot in their writings, I noticed. But I'll just read part of it he didn't quote for some reason. So he's saying basically that if you get a small number of people, that if there's an artful leader of those people, then it'll be more abusive because then they can spread it around. Then if it be lodged in the hands of one man, who from the very circumstance of his being alone will be more narrowly watched and more readily suspected, and who cannot unite so great a mass of influence as when he was associated with others. This is before Twitter, obviously.
Yeah.
And TV, right? I think
well,
they just
and all
imagine.
this is about the executive as a whole, whether it should be one person or multiple people. So it's completely irrelevant to this point. It doesn't tell you that, like our argument isn't like, oh no, someone else within the executive should start. You know, the argument is that Congress should declare war, and this should, right? Like it could.
That it's outside of the executive branch. Yeah.
Let's say that this had gone the other way, and we instead of a president, we actually had a presidential board or something, and they did this same crap. That wouldn't fix it. Like this question is irrelevant, right? To the point of this is a fucking war crime.
What do you
I don't
do
care
with
if he did it with a group did it, or if just he did it. It's all within the executive anyway, right?
Right. And Hamilton comes down on the side of one person because he thinks it's easier to hold one person accountable because, hey, we put impeachment in the Constitution, so clearly we're going to use that, right?
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
It's almost like we should use that sometimes. Otherwise, it doesn't exist anymore.
I do want to point out, too, that in Heritage in 2018 had this great headline based on this exact argument. It is no easy task for president to, quote unquote, abuse his authority over the Justice Department. It's hard to abuse your authority over the Justice Department.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're saying basically that like you can't because whatever the president says goes. And so whatever the president wants to do
the Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
That's now the mainstream Republican view. Richard Nixon. What famously, the movie Frost Nixon is going to be confusing to later generations because the whole Frost Nixon movie builds up to the dramatic moment of him saying, I believe when the president does it, it isn't illegal. And that's like the wow, gotcha, holy shit. But now they'd be like, yeah, well, that's what? That's
the law.
That's that's the Trump law. The Trump clause
John
of the
Roberts.
Constitutional. Yeah, the Constitution.
Man.
Yeah, wow. Depressing.
Exactly. All right, back to the article.
Yep.
Translation. The president and his cabinet must at times act swiftly and decisively to defend the nation. This ought to be axiomatic to anyone with even a rudimentary conception of American constitutionalism.
That wasn't the Constitution, though.
This understanding has been confirmed repeatedly. Josh.
Editor-in-chief. Or editor-at-large, whatever, yeah. Come on, edit thyself.
You need to get an editor-at-larger.
Candace Owens wouldn't have made that mistake. Just saying. I'm stoking flames here.
I do want to note that the link there is to a tweet by Hugh Hewitt, the conservative great mind legal thinker. It's a very typical kind of conservative tweet where it's like, well, have you considered this case from 1936? And it doesn't really. The case from 1936 has nothing to do with anything.
Confirmed
repeatedly by the U.S. Supreme Court. Yeah, show us the evidence for that.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're citing a tweet. I mean, this is the level of intellectual rigor we're working with here, folks. Your citation is a tweet from Hugh Hewitt, not a law review article from Hugh Hewitt. He doesn't have any of those.
And it's also too long of a tweet. Like,
it's way too long.
Why?
These are people.
Pays for like
if you pay for X, total loser. But I will just note.
He's citing a tweet.
That's
many con law experts on.
In quotes, con law experts. In quotes. Who are the experts?
Yeah, I'm not even sure what principle he's saying has been confirmed repeatedly, because from this Hugh Hewitt thing, he's talking about this U.S. v. Curtis Wright case, which talks about the president having, obviously supreme authority over foreign policy and being able to stop arms manufacturers from selling to Bolivia during a civil war. They're just saying like that's something he's allowed to do. And they're saying you have to have a supreme will somewhere. That's what he's saying here. And that's what Hugh Hewitt is saying. And that's what he's trying to, I guess Josh Hammer is trying to say, is that there is a sovereign, there has to be a sovereign, so he's in charge. But that's not at all what any of this stuff, the Hewitt thing is so convoluted. We should keep going. It's not even worth it. I could break that down, but it's not worth the time.
The president's constitutionally legitimate war-waging powers certainly encompass targeted interdictions against non-state actors operating outside U.S. borders and menacing our citizens.
Certainly. Constitutionally legitimate war-waging powers is quite a phrase, because Article 1, of course, specifically only gives Congress the power to declare or wage war. And the War Powers Act of 1973 was passed after Nixon bombed Cambodia, because we realized that maybe the president shouldn't just be able to bomb Cambodia. That's not a great move.
Yeah.
Nixon vetoed it because he didn't want to have his power restricted that way. Congress passes it over his veto. And now the president has to submit reports within 48 hours of any military action that we take outside of war. And I just want to point out that Trump did actually file a report on this, and we can link to it. It's nonsense. He filed a report on the boat strike, I should say.
Not on Josh Hammer's piece.
No, right. I will file a report against this piece.
He filed it on the Cambodia bombing. That Nixon
right.
By the letter of the law.
Right. But it's kind of a joke. But like he's supposed to basically not do this anymore after 6 months after you determine that it's not necessary or whatever. Like there's like at least some kind of attempt from Congress, and it's been upheld, to restrict the ability of the president to do military actions without a declaration of war, because we don't do those anymore. Also, the thing about non-state actors operating outside U.S. borders, that is true. Certainly, we've had plenty of military engagements against non-state actors, certainly all the way through the war on terror, the war on drugs. But people often cite back to, you might have heard about the Barbary pirates back in 1803. That's where the shores of Tripoli from the Marine song comes from, because that was actually our first foreign engagement. And it was because there were pirates off the coast of the Mediterranean that were intercepting our trade. It turns out, I didn't know this till I went and looked it up today, they declared war on us. We were actually responding to a war. It wasn't just that we were going and killing pirates for no reason.
They declared war on us.
Yeah, bold move in 1803.
Wow.
But
pirates.
they knew we were kind of worn out. We were still kind of recovering from the whole revolution
now that's
thing.
swashbuckling.
Yeah,
Call back to last week.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, just the multiple stretches here that he takes from constitutionally
I'm a
legitimate.
swashbuckling originalist. I think that we should look what the swashbucklers swashbuckled back then.
In 1803.
Man.
That's right.
Yeah.
And do it that
They
way.
did it.
Yep. And they literally declared war on
Cool.
us. So, yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
Hegseth's critics want to relitigate Vietnam-era debates about executive power without acknowledging the world as it is.
Sometimes there are boats of people. Places.
Cartels
just
today are not mere criminal syndicates. They are militarized, politically influential transnational organizations that destabilize entire regions. They are, in every meaningful sense of the term, narco-terrorists. And when intelligence confirms that one of their vessels is engaged in armed smuggling operations, the president need not convene an obstreperous congressional committee before acting in such a manner to defend the American people.
He doesn't? Are we sure?
Yeah, but
I feel like
all
you should.
this, I'm sorry, even this all is really doing a good job of tricking everyone into the wrong framing. Because the problem, mainly the most simple problem, is the double tap nature of it.
Right.
Like that's all, like we can argue about this, and I'm sure he's wrong about this too, but we could say, okay, yes, and even if I grant all that bullshit, it doesn't mean he could just like kill whoever he wants, and he doesn't mean he could violate the very obvious principle of once people are just shipwrecked, they're just like swimming because you've destroyed their boat. You don't get to then also just kill them. Like, even if all this crap were true, he doesn't need to convene a committee, maybe, but he can't commit war crimes. He still can't commit war crimes.
Oh, he's going to respond to that argument shortly.
Oh, he does?
Paragraphs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I agree with you, of course, but I do think that obviously this is all nonsense. Every part of this is nonsense, just to reiterate that. We all understand that. We all agree. But all right,
But the left cannot resist turning every question of national security into a morality play starring America as the villain. The same commentators who defend, quote, harm reduction at home suddenly clutch their pearls when the U.S. military reduces the harm posed by fentanyl trafficking thugs in the near abroad. The same editorial pages that applaud drone strikes against foreign jihadists, so long as a progressive like Barack Obama is in the Oval Office, now pretend that maritime counterterror operations amount to Mile 2.0. Did I say that wrong? I said that wrong.
It's Mile. I was making it with you though.
Okay, thank you.
Just as
Matt's really disappointed in my pronunciation.
That's what I don't like about this paragraph. Yes,
exactly.
No, I just want to point out, just as a literature guy, morality play can't star America as the villain because morality plays star sort of abstract concepts like truth and justice. But Josh doesn't know that. But yeah, the harm reduction thing really annoyed me very much. Mm-hmm. That's very stupid. The idea that like shooting people in cold blood is harm reduction that compares to like needle exchanges. I mean, come on.
Yeah. The gross co-opting of a term that is actually valuable.
Doing good, right.
Policy that's actually valuable. Yeah. What Hegseth did, more precisely, what the administration authorized him to carry out, is not a crime. It is policy. It is constitutional, and it is in the national interest.
It's one of those things. It is policy. Give you that. I don't think it's the other things. Also, weird setup there that what the administration authorized him to carry out. Like, he is the administration. He is the guy in charge of the military. So,
wait, yeah, what?
That's a weird, like, there's only one person above him.
What the administration authorized him to carry out.
Just Trump, I guess? Is that all he's trying to indicate there?
And the intelligence community, I guess, but which is still... Yeah, it's still his decision. But
nor, contra some cable news experts, in quotes, is there any legal distinction between the first and second strikes in September.
Go. Okay. Yes, go on, please.
If the relevant legal threshold for the strike, such as the imminent threat of lethal action against the American homeland or something along those lines, was met the first time, then it would be met the second time as well.
Sure.
Wait, does he actually mean the double tap thing, or is he talking about two different strikes?
No, I think it's the double tap.
Is it not a second?
Well, so here.
He's writing it after this.
Let me finish out the paragraph and we can chat. Yeah. To pretend otherwise, that the initial strike is somehow legitimate but not a second strike, is to fall prey to the same morally dilapidated and legally coherent logic as leftists when they support on-demand abortion, but then suddenly care a lot for a baby that survives a botched abortion.
Perfect analogy.
Make it make sense.
What are you talking about, you fucking idiot? Yeah, you make it make sense. That doesn't make any sense. This, first off, I think it is extremely funny to be like, to use the fact that you attack people who weren't dangerous to begin with, to then be like, and if that was fine, then when they were even less dangerous, it's fine. Because like if the first one's fine, then the second one's fine. Yeah. How about a third one? Maybe a fourth one.
Just keep going.
If the fifth one, why can't we go attack their people at home, their family at home? If the first one was fine, we can do that because they gave birth to them. So we can. Yeah, it's like there. It is I'm no expert in any of this shit, but even I know there's a distinction between an imminent threat and somebody that's neutralized. Like we don't execute prisoners of war. We're not supposed to do that, right? I'm not the lawyer, Matt, but we're not supposed to execute prisoners of war because they're not dangerous once you capture them.
Yeah, but in for a war crime penny, in for a war crime pound, right? So
you could, this argument is fucking idiotic. You could be like, yeah, let's pretend it was a completely legitimate military strike again, because you're saying we're not even at war, we're nowhere near any of this. But let's say we were in a war, and let's say that there was a strike against maybe it was some sort of vessel that had weapons on it. That could be justified, I imagine. But then once they're neutralized, then they're neutral. If they're not a threat, you can't justify it by being, the first strike was fine, so why not a second one? Well, because you're in a different situation. Once you've disabled them, or once right?
Yeah,
once
you have to reassess.
Threat, it's like if you disarm someone, you're in a different context now. You can't justify it by saying, well, it's fine that I did the first thing.
Yeah.
And then I can usually at least follow the nonsense baby idiot logic that this moron uses, but this one's tough. Okay. They fall prey to the same fucking blah, 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 word count. When they support on-demand abortion, which we don't, but whatever. Or do? I don't know. Maybe I do. Like why wouldn't it be on demand?
Yeah, if you can go get mifepristone.
Trying to think, like, what's the difference? Yeah, that's not the thing that matters.
It. Yeah.
It's like, do I support on-demand boner pills? It's like, yeah, any medical thing should be like when people need it, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like,
in consultation with their doctor.
Yeah, you gotta wait 6 weeks for your boner pills or whatever. No, okay, so that's anyway. But suddenly care a lot for a baby that survives a botched abortion.
Because that's a baby.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen either, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
This is incredible. And then putting make it make sense after that is just chef's kiss, man.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. So you're saying if you support abortion, then if an abortion doesn't work, but then the fetus is no longer in the moral status of being a fetus and being in someone's body, is later a baby, then caring is hypocritical because you were okay with abortion.
Because you thought that they should have died.
Does that extend into adulthood? Oh, you thought abortion was fine, so then now that this person's 30, you should be okay with killing them.
Yeah.
No, that's not anything. But then also for that to relate back to the double strike is the double tap is incredible. Like It's the opposite, if anything. It would be like if you did an abortion on a fetus and then it became like even less of a person. Because like to try to do the analogy. So now it's just like cells. Now it's not even anything.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, but now I don't support throwing away these cells. Like that would be the thing that would be weird.
Yeah.
But you're not even close. It's so abstract and stupid. What you need an editor, dude. Like this is so bad.
It's almost over.
We live in an era of border chaos, cartel empowerment, and corrosive moral relativism.
Like comparing boat strikes to abortions, that kind of relativism?
Yeah.
The presidency must not be cowed by editorial board tantrums. The constitutional order requires a strong executive, precisely the sort of executive who does not blink when American lives and sovereignty are on the line. The left may not like that, but the Constitution does not care.
Great work.
More importantly, but no one will do anything about it. And the Supreme Court doesn't give a shit, and Republicans don't give a shit. It's not the Constitution.
Man.
It's what these corrupt people say it is, or just avoid the subject altogether.
Yeah.
I feel like he just like hit his keyboard and then published it. And like, honestly, it's word salad for half of it. The other half is stupid words that like for no reason he's incorporating that we don't need, that I then have to stumble over. It's just not fair. So
this is just childish. It's just fucking childish crap.
And doesn't really acknowledge the existence of the legal system or the laws of war or the Geneva Convention or anything that actually constrains or is supposed to constrain the military. This is the height of conservative thinking. Oh, no, wait, actually, that's Ross Douthat, the head of conservative
Ross
thinking.
Doot-hat.
We should move on to Douthat.
I guess I'll say, in summary, if your entire article needs to be typed with the face that's like, like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's stupid. The whole thing. The left may not like that, but it's just fucking make a point. Just be a grown up. Be an adult. Like it's just silly. Who would read this? The people who like this don't read.
Yeah.
Do they?
I hope
we just read
not.
it to them, so hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, he probably just like does it. And our listeners don't like this. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying, if you want to hear it, we just read it to you. So.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably does it on his podcast too, where he can really, because I know the people who like this don't read. All right. Well, we've got to take our final break here. And of course, thank our top tier of patrons. And these are the folks that are at the top of the leaderboard. Thank you so much to the Cincinnati Kid, Bob Loblaw's Law Podcast, Philly Basement Bar is busy organizing, Elect Thomas Smith, President, American Honky Tonk Bar Association,
One day.
Gate, Philip Kaiser. What's that, Lassie? Timmy got thrown into a hole.
More holes.
Really good.
More holes.
Thank you, patrons. Making my day. Corin Land, a string of unpronounceable characters. Malika Chandler. Milo Mead Song is fighting petty tyrants. RondoTheDork.com. Hors d'oeuvres in the court before we report. Big Easy Blasphemy, Chris Waltrip, Fred R. Gruthius, Classic Libtard, and Mitchell.
Yay.
Thank you so much, top patrons. We'll take a break and we'll get to the Douthat of it all. Douthat.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I was thinking they could have a really terrible morning drive show called The Hat and the Hammer. Or The Hammer and the Hat. I don't know.
Yeah, even Douthat, I don't think could handle talking to that fucking idiot.
No, I think he'd lose it. So, great American Christian intellectual Ross Doot-hat has some opinions about how we're not Christian enough. And this to me really highlights, this one piece really highlights the entire problem of Ross Doot-hat and where he's at right now. And his little island of intellectual Catholicism.
Right. Yeah, the original title of this article, by the way, was The Trump Administration Needs More Christianity in Its Nationalism. They have since changed it because, like what happened last month with the feminism in the workplace
I was gonna say,
situation.
He's on a real streak of like fucking up with the first title here.
Yeah. Now the title is Why is Christianity So Hard to Find in the Trump Administration?
That's a lot different.
It's a lot different. Taking
Before
out that nationalism.
Like, you need Christian nationalism.
Title?
And now it's like there's not any more Christianity.
Yeah,
that's a big difference.
Content hasn't changed at all. They're just trying to take it out of the title, so it's not
as
like
it's funny,
obvious.
Though. It's the second time. Are they trying to do this now?
I don't know.
Is it just like the first try is like horribly offensive crap, and then they're like, oh, change it real quick, and then people will talk about that.
Yeah, and then people will talk about the title changing.
He's like, we got to find a way for someone to read Ross Doot-hat. Nobody is doing it.
And make fun of it on a podcast. Let's give it the best possible headline. Yeah. All right, we can get through this one.
We got to talk about Pete Hegseth again. As soon as he was nominated to be Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, with his Crusader cross tattoo and his attendance at a hard-edge Calvinist church, became a natural vessel for liberal fears about that dread concept, quote, Christian nationalism. This is a term that can be understood in two ways. The first understanding emphasizes the Christian part and imagines nationalism as the vehicle through which conservative believers impose their doctrines on a pluralist society.
Literally, yes.
This is the vision that inspires the strongest liberal paranoia with images of inquisitions, witch trials, the Republic of Gilead.
I mean,
no.
Just images of what's happening
right now. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is MAGA.
Look around.
This is Christian dominionism. This is what it is.
Yeah,
they believe they should be controlling the country.
Roe v. Wade being overturned, of gay marriage being threatened, of trans people not being allowed to exist. You don't have to go to
books being
witch
banned.
Trials. Like it's now, man.
And you literally just cited the church that Pete Hegseth, one of the most powerful people in the country, is a part of, and it's a pretty extreme thing. Like it's, I mean, you can read about it yourself, but it's an extreme conservative Christian church. It is not Ross Douthat's friendly Catholicism here.
Mm. But there's a second understanding in which nationalism is the controlling word and the religious modifier is the pinch of incense that makes believers comfortable with worldly deeds and choices.
And this understanding doesn't exist or have any relevance at all, except to me,
this column.
Ross Doot-hat.
Pretty much. Yeah.
With this kind of Christian nationalism, the core fault might not be too much religious moralism in politics, but too little. And this second understanding often seems closer to the realities of the second Trump administration.
No, that's it. Those are the realities of the Trump administration. It's full of dominionists. So, yeah.
Start with the current controversy surrounding Hegseth, his orders to rain down death on Venezuelan boats believed to be carrying drugs, and the alleged decision, in at least one instance, to ruthlessly finish off survivors. Not if you talk to Josh Hammer. I don't want to say that a policy of direct attacks on drug cartels is inherently inconsistent with Christian ideas about just war. Perhaps a case could be made and a strategy constructed that clarifies when exactly a drug mule becomes a combatant.
Oh, never.
WWJD.
Let me just clarify. Yeah. And that's when Jesus did a preemptive missile strike on the drug mule.
And hit him again. Yeah.
Well, this is about the first part he's saying. So, yeah.
Well, and then he said, and ruthlessly finish off survivors, I thought.
No, but he's saying this is, he's this part is about the first aspect.
Yeah, just the concept
of the first thing.
But I do not hear such a case from Hegseth or the administration. The argument instead is mostly a bloody-minded utilitarianism. Bad guys being killed saves American lives. You can trust us that these are all bad guys. No, you can't see the legal justification, and anyway, Obama killed more people with his drone strikes. Traditional Christian just war considerations don't seem to enter in at all.
No, it turns out they're not reading Thomas Aquinas, guys.
I know. This is why, like, I can't hate Douthat. He's just irrelevant. Like, he
lives in a different world.
Yeah, and I don't know what, like, because he's just conservative and anti-left, he has to present everything in this weird way that pisses everybody off. But you could very much, like, if someone wrote a column that was like, "Hi, I'm a Christian and I wish Trump was actually Christian."
Yeah.
This thing where he just killed people, not very Christian. This, like, I got no problem with that. Write that. But it has to be presented in this, first off, this Christian nationalist, that title. I can't believe it.
Crazy.
That's funny. We didn't know until today that it was changed. But like that. So there's that. And then also like all this language around, like, first off, gaslighting us about what we fear with the Christian administration.
Right.
Like, no, it's not that. There's almost, this is why I don't hate him that much. It's like, at least he's saying like, this isn't Christian.
Yeah.
Give
He's got to get weird about it,
a little bit of credit. Okay,
He's still going to get weird.
All right, I'll hold my judgment.
This particular lacuna is hardly unique to the Trump era. From Hiroshima and Nagasaki to the post 9/11 era, American hawks have never felt especially constrained by religious attempts to put limits on the use of force.
Correct.
What's notable about this administration, though, is how widely the religious deficit extends.
Yeah.
When the Trump administration slashed foreign aid programs that often reflected an explicitly Christian humanitarianism, some religious conservatives welcomed or made their peace with the cuts.
Hey, let's say more about the people that welcomed the cuts. What's up with them? He's just kind of glossing through that, right?
But with the exception of the transgender issue, more, quote, right-wing coded religious priorities have also received little attention from this administration. It has conspicuously kept the pro-life movement at arm's length. It has offered, at best, symbolic moves toward the regulation of spreading vices, pornography, drugs, gambling, that evangelical Christianity especially wants vigorously opposed.
It conspicuously kept the pro-life movement at arm's length, even though he nominated judges that got rid of Roe v. Wade and...
Yeah, I don't really know what they're trying to get there. Also, isn't...
what is that hyperlink? Okay.
Yeah, it's Washington Examiner. Pro-life sold out
for a seat at Trump's table. Now it's out in the cold. Oh, those poor pro-lifers. They're just not getting their way enough anymore.
I mean, I think after Dobbs, the MAGA people did realize that it's very unpopular and it's losing them elections. Yeah. And, you know, generally, like, you look at the polling and it's like 13% of America wants to criminalize abortion. So, like, it's not...
It's still just funny to be like, after them having a major the victory they worked for 50 years or whatever. Like,
he's whining
it's
about
hard
it.
to be like, they're out in the cold. It's like, because they won. Like, I guess they're not...
Right, like,
maybe
what
he's
else
not
do you
going
want?
after the next thing, which is like the, you know, the artificial insemination, or what am I thinking?
IVF.
You know, IVF, yeah, like maybe they're not going after the next victory, but come on, boo-hoo, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, this paragraph is full of complaints. He's complaining about these things.
Yeah.
He wants
That's
them
all
to do
anything
these
is
things.
now. It's just
Don't
complaining.
they participate in March for Life, though? Like, folks in the Trump administration? Didn't they
They're
participate
all
again?
pro-life. They're
Like,
incredibly pro-life.
yeah, whatever. Nor has it yet offered serious responses to the newer religious concern over falling birth rates.
Didn't know that was, but all right.
They've been all
they've been talking about it a lot.
Yeah, but they do that though. Isn't that in
that's
Project
part?
2025?
Well, that's part of why they're actually trying to make IVF more affordable, is because they think that's one of the ways to address the falling birth rate. So they are pursuing that.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of their rhetoric around like, well, women shouldn't be able to get divorces,
right?
Because we need more babies,
right?
It's like,
and the turn to the traditional gender roles, and exactly, and the
he's got
influence of Turning Point and the focus on family that's throughout all of this stuff. I think that they are absolutely pursuing ways to address falling birth rates.
The thing that he's sort of dancing around is just that Trump's not a Christian. Like, that's, I mean, everything else is there, but it is true that like Trump kind of doesn't. I mean, he actually, I think he kind of is getting a little religious with the assassination attempt and him being old and close to death, but he doesn't care about those values. And that's the only common ingredient here. It's not, you know, it's like the people all around him care about this stuff. They're all empowered, like everybody in his movement. And in MAGA, it's just him that's like sometimes not cool with emphasizing certain parts of this because they've been unpopular to Matt's point.
And they're also, to Douthat's perspective, the wrong kind of Christian. And I mean, I agree they're the wrong kind of Christian because the kind of Christian that they're fine with cutting off humanitarian. He's saying basically the Trump administration is full of these Calvinist, dominionist, like hard-edged people that don't do the humanitarian stuff. Like they're cutting off humanitarian aid. They're justifying murder, right? And I would agree. I would like to see people that don't do that. And he's just complaining that they're not his kind of Christian.
And it has done little to address growing Christian anxieties about the dehumanizing effects of an artificial intelligence future. If the Rights Coalition is divided between an AI-boosting donor class and a potentially AI-skeptical base, which has Steve Bannon as its would-be spokesman, the Trump administration has strongly favored the side that wants to build the machine god.
It's like the one thing Bannon's right on, I just have to point out. He's very...
What?
He's
Bannon
very
is actually really
anti-AI?
against... And tech press,
The administration has offered a lot of general rhetoric about the value of Christianity to American civilization, along with presidential complaints about Christian persecution overseas and pious social media posts on Catholic holidays.
Also a social media post of Trump dressed as the Pope, but let's not talk about that.
But in the absence of religious-informed policymaking, this sometimes feels more like a performance of a Christian politics than a full reality.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just like, I'm so
but like, boo-hoo.
over it. Like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Why are you freaking complaining, Douthat?
Yeah, it's like,
Jesus.
I'm trying to think of why this sucks so much. And it's like taking the complaint, because again, it could be a totally legitimate article. And I think more people should fucking write articles about like, hey, I'm Christian. Here's what Jesus would have wanted.
Yeah.
The opposite of everything Republicans and MAGA stands for.
Yeah.
I would love article after article.
Constant.
I'm an atheist, but I would love that because it's fucking infuriating to see people talk about Jesus and all that and then just kill immigrants and stuff. Like that would be fine. But he's turning that into like a boo-hoo, I'm not special enough to the administration or something.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this tone? It's just
and
weird.
Also that they're not far right enough on social issues. Like, why aren't they criminalizing porn? It's like one of the things he says in here, right? Or why aren't they embracing pro-lifers even though they're super unpopular?
Because Jesus said, I don't know. What did Jesus ever say about porn? Nothing. I don't think they had great porn back then.
I didn't read the Bible.
You can't look with lust on anybody, basically. So.
Yeah, and it says, pluck your own fucking eye out. That's right. Look at that one. You don't like that one, do you, Christians? It says if you would look at a fucking, what's that one? If you'd look at a woman or whatever lustfully, you know what you don't do is slut shame her. You're supposed to literally pluck out your own eye.
Because you're the problem.
So exactly.
Yeah.
They don't
Not her.
listen to anything Jesus actually said at all.
And we all go blind at 11.
Yeah. Mike Johnson just downloads an app so his son can make sure he's not looking at porn.
Oh, boy.
Gross. In offering this analysis, I should stress that sincerely Christian policymaking can go badly astray. You think? Where the Middle East is concerned, I prefer Trump's pagan transactionalism to George W. Bush's evangelical idealism, or simply prove unpopular. I don't imagine that a war on porn would dramatically improve Trump's approval ratings.
But let's do it anyway. Project 2025 suggested it. They did say we should criminalize them.
Oh, God. And sometimes the Trump administration's not especially religious priorities simply reflect what its supporters want. The Rights Coalition is more secular than in the past, and even many church-going conservatives seem more concerned about immigration than abortion.
But not the good way.
Many very online converts are more invested in meme wars than morals legislation.
Yeah.
And religious fears about AI are inchoate.
Inchoate.
God, we've done this one before, and it does not stick in me. There isn't some clear trad alternative to outracing the Chinese.
What? I don't...
Trad in quotes.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
There isn't some clear trad alternative. What is that? I don't think I understand that. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything. I just don't think
we can't out-Christian AI, I guess. I don't know.
Religious fears about AI are inchoate. Okay. So he's saying like there isn't like enough of an organized religious opinion, like traditional religious opinion about AI.
They could overcome
So they haven't
that.
like formulated it enough. There's not like a clear other option, I guess, to AI. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Nonetheless, I think a more Christian politics could serve the White House on three fronts. In policymaking, a Christian social vision would help...
Don't fucking kill people for no reason would be one. That'd be my first one.
A Christian social vision would help the administration come to grips with the central social problem of our time, the substitution of transient hedonic vices for permanent commitments.
I don't think that's the central social problem of our time. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah,
I think the central social problem of our time is that we're glorifying sadism and like bullying. But
yeah, I also think let's see, I think the biggest social problem of our time is that too many of us are fed propaganda and just believe incorrect things about what's happening. And so have all these horribly cruel views about other people, like trans people.
Toxic empathy.
Distorted.
That's right. Empathy is really the biggest problem.
In politics, a public rhetoric infused with more Christian charity might win an increasingly unpopular administration some badly needed friends.
How'd that go for Jeb Bush in 2015? More Christian charity.
Yeah.
Please clap.
Yeah, this whole column is a please clap. I don't like this part of it where he's saying a public rhetoric infused with more Christian charity might win an increasingly unpopular administration. Is that true? I mean, what would that actually mean?
That's not what people want.
Like the culture wars is what people want. That's the whole point of the culture wars.
They want to see people get owned.
Yeah,
they want to see people get destroyed, right? That's the internet culture that exists in politics.
Again, Douthat, what world are you living in? Like you're in your column is irrelevant. You're writing about an imaginary land. This isn't anything.
Does he live in a literal monastery? Because I'm starting to think
yeah.
He loved being around Catholics.
And morally, in certain concrete cases, from the treatment of the detainees we shipped to a Salvadoran prison to the fate of alleged drug runners our missiles might have left helpless in the sea, a little more Christianity in its nationalism might simply prevent this administration from doing wicked things.
Disagree.
I don't know why you need the nationalism part. Like, what is that?
Also.
Yeah, I feel like he's trying to spin, like whenever we hear Christian nationalism, he's trying to be like, hey, no, it's actually not that bad of a phrase because let's think about it this way.
I think that's what he was doing,
Yeah, so anytime we hear Christian nationalism, if we think about it the way that Douthat thinks about it, then our alarm bells aren't going to go off.
I think kind of, but I think my finer point on it would be, I think he's just making a kind of a rhetorical play based on people criticizing this as a Christian nationalist thing. And I think his weakness here is that he doesn't understand how, or doesn't, I don't think he feels in any sort of imminent way how scary and dangerous Christian nationalism is. So he can kind of use it as a little rhetorical thing to be like, oh, they say it's Christian nationalist, but it should really be more Christian. It's like,
I guess my position is like I don't necessarily think that he is trying to do that himself. Like that's a really cynical view. But what I think it's doing is it's allowing people who do want to use something like that. Now they can, like lean on this article should they need to kind of like wave away any concerns about Christian nationalism and make people start to feel crazy for being concerned about it. I don't think that's necessarily like his position, but.
He's also not confronting the actual problem of what the majority of, or at least the outspoken political Christianity is right now, which is the Seven Mountains kind of, about that, the Seven Mountains mandate, where they believe they should be controlling every part of life: education, religion, family, business, government, military, arts, entertainment, and media.
Cool.
But the fact that you've got like we've gone from George W. Bush's compassionate conservatism, where he was actually working with leading faith leaders. I'm not glorifying Bush, and I was saying he was doing it right. I'm just saying, relatively speaking, that's looking pretty good in terms of now. You have the White House Faith Office run by Paula White, who's like a pretty extreme, hard-right, evangelical, charismatic type who's associated with the new apostolic Reformation types, right? The really hardcore dominionists who believe that Christians should be running government. And I'm not sure that and again, I'm not glorifying or justifying Bush here, but I'm not sure that's really where the Bush people were coming from. They were running government anyway, but this idea that it's like an absolute mandate and that we have to do everything possible and justify whatever it takes to have Christians running government, that's the real danger with the current Christian nationalism, I think, just in my observation. Yeah. He's not confronting that at all.
I think the Bush administration was maybe a little more that way than, at least based on my memory. But I think they were more cagey about it. Like I think they were less apt to just say it out in the open. That's a lot of this. I really do think the lesson of this past 20 years is that these people never were actually cool. They just weren't saying it as much. And then it just becomes more and more open.
Yeah. I mean, Bush was the last president to prosecute obscenity in any way, right? You remember Ashcroft covering up the statues, right? That's the kind of stuff that Douthat wants to see.
Man, I don't remember that.
He's pretty clear. Remember like the topless statues? They went in the DOJ, they covered them up.
Oh my God.
Really? Oh man.
Ashcroft did that.
That sounds familiar, but
babies.
I can't. Wow, that's funny.
Crazy.
But I mean, that's the kind of stuff that Douthat would love to see.
Yeah,
right? The kind of like the signaling, and that paragraph where he's complaining, I think, is very telling. When he's like, "Well, you're not prosecuting pornography and drugs and gambling. You're not bringing in the pro-life movement at every meeting and putting it at the table, right? That's what I want to see. And you're not doing that for me.
It's kind of interesting too, because like the fracturing that I feel like we've seen specifically with like the Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson conversation and the anti-Semitism stuff, where like the Heritage Foundation's position was like, oh, not a big deal, blah, 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 blah. And then Robert P. George, who's been long time, very, very conservative, head of the Witherspoon Institute out of Princeton University, very involved with all of these like far-right political think tanks, has left the Heritage Foundation. So like we're seeing that fracturing there when it comes to religion and politics. It's really interesting. It just reminded me of that as we were reading through this.
Yeah, well, in the end, Douthat is irrelevant, and I think he's again, he somehow managed to take a message of this administration should be more Christian, which I think is actually, or at least should be more in line with like what Christianity should be, which is fine. And he made it suck. Like he made it into, first off, they are not appealing to me enough.
Yeah.
and the pro-life movement. It's like, come on, man. So anyway, that's Douthat for you.
There he is.
This has been another Vapid Response. Thanks so much, Matt. Thanks so much, Lydia. And we'll see everybody on the podcast feed for Rapid Response Friday. I'll be coming back for that. Excited to speak to you all then.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, listeners. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Lydia. And thanks most of all to our patrons.
Thanks, Thomas.
Oh,
you never get a thank you, so I'm making sure you get one. Yeah.
It's about time.
See
all right. See everybody next time.
Douthat. Did I get it in before you turned it off?
This has been Opening Arguments, produced by Thomas and Lydia Smith, with editing help from Peter Baird. The intro is by Thomas Smith. This outro is by Matt Cameron. Support the show at patreon.com/lob. Contact us through Patreon or openarguments@gmail.com. Make sure to follow our Blue Sky @openargs. But most of all, please share the show. Thanks for listening.